coming back to school with me. We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson Wood. I am the board game teacher. Thanks for coming to the classroom. Today, we're taking a look at Blokus by Alari Games. So in taking a look at the report card here for Blokus, I give the number of players here a B. It's between 2 to 4 players. Really, it plays best with 4 players. If you play with anything less than 4 players, then players are going to have to take turns playing the other sides because it needs 4 sides in order to work well as a game. So if you're playing 2 players, each player will play 2 colors. If you're playing 3 players, each player will take turns playing the 4th color. And then 4 players, each player plays 1 color. But anything less than 4, and it doesn't become a challenge. So learning B+. And what I think is so great about this game is that it's a lot of fun, but it's one of those games which is kind of like hiding the vegetables inside the something else, because you're giving a lot of math instructions, a lot of learning that goes on with this game, but you're not really feeling it. It's not like, oh, there's math here. And so the fun, yeah, so like I said, the fun is a lot of fun, and I was actually really surprised by this game. I've been pretty heavily into board games for the last I'd say like 10 years or so, and this game has really just been way under my radar. It wasn't one that I'd looked at until just recently, in the last couple months at time of recording, and it seriously blew my mind. I had certain expectations going into it, which I'll explain more when I show how it's played, but it just astounded me on how good of a game that it is. So B+ for sure. Time is a B because it doesn't take much time to set up, or clean up or anything, but just again, it takes a bit of time to play through, and especially as players, if they're really competitive, really serious, some of that analysis paralysis where they think too much about their next move can set in. And so it's not terrible. It's not like going to take way too much time. It's not a very long game, half an hour or so, but it's not super quick. But so B is a respectable score. What cost, I put B+, because it's been out for a while, because a lot of gamers now tend to, I think, move on to other games for their own personal collections. I think you can find Blokus pretty cheap if you look around for it. There is, you may find it in thrift stores, you may find it at, garage sales or whatever. You also look on BoardGameGeek.com, and the geek lists and the geek market. There's areas there where you can look for people who are willing to sell it, and sell it as cheap as like $10 or something. So I put a B+ because if you buy it new, it's not that expensive, but there's also opportunities to find it cheaper if you know where to look and look around a little bit. So I just want to mention too that at time of recording, there is actually 5 different variations of Blokus that are out there. What I have here today is regular Blokus. This is the first one that came out some years ago. But now we have, so there's Blokus. There's Blokus 3D, which is looking at Blokus with 3-dimensional shapes, and you're building up and trying to create patterns in that way. And I'll explain more when I do that video, because I will do a video on that one in the near future. There's Blokus Duo, which is Blokus as made to be played by just 2 players. So like I said, this one needs 4. Blokus Duo is a different board that is played with just 2. So that can be something that you may want to consider as well. There's Blokus Trigon. In Trigon Blokus, you have the square blocks and the pieces that you're using. In Trigon Blokus, you are using triangular pieces, and so it completely changes a lot of the strategies and things and the way they look at the board. And then the final one is Blokus Junior. So Blokus Junior is Blokus, but for kids who are about 5 years old. So if you're looking for a game for some younger kids, maybe some primary grades, then Blokus Junior may be the one for you. So Blokus, Blokus 3D, Blokus Duo, Trigon, and Blokus Junior. Because of the simplicity of the game, I think Blokus is a game which I was guilty of myself, of being overlooked by people as being so simple as to not really be, educational or really complicated or really much to it. Far from the truth. Let me just go through some of the skills in Blokus that will be developed through playing it. The first skill that would be developed would just be the visual processing, looking at the board and interpreting the information that's on the board as the brain sees it. The second skill we're looking at is nonverbal reasoning. In nonverbal reasoning, you're taking all the information that was pulled in by the verbal processing and starting to now formulate strategies around that. You're starting to analyze the information that you've seen and start to figure out what can you do with that now. How are you going to make your next move? How are you going to advance yourself? How are you going to plan strategies for several turns down the line? The third skill is attention to detail. In attention to detail, you are noticing everything that's going on the board, and you're noticing spaces where you may be able to make your next play. The attention to detail in this game is very high, especially as the game gets into later stages, where you are now able to see where you can go based on what attention you pay and what details you're noticing. The next skill would be attention to detail, where you're looking at what you see on the board and really sort of focusing on what you can do with the spaces that you have left. It comes in hand in hand with the nonverbal reasoning, but you have to be aware of what's there in order to then be able to plan those moves and to analyze what your next move may be. When most people think of Blokus, they think that they're going to obviously say that the most important and the biggest skill you're developing is the spatial reasoning, and that is no arguments here. I mean, spatial reasoning is what this game is about. You're looking at what spaces are open, you're looking at what pieces you have left and how those pieces you have left may fit into those open spaces. So really that is a huge part of the game. This game will also help to develop attention, because as you are playing the game, you tend to be really focused on areas where you are planning your next move, and you are just almost praying that people don't recognize and see the spaces where you want to go. So you are really invested in the game, and your attention is really pulled into that game. So people who maybe have a lack of attention when playing will definitely benefit from this one, because it can really help to develop those attention skills, because you need to watch what's happening and see, rather than every turn when it's your turn to go, saying, oh, okay, where did everybody go? And you can't do that. I mean, it'll just slow the game right down. So if you're going to be playing this game, you're going to need to pay attention, and it's not a hard thing to do, because you are, as I say, so invested in this game at all times, even when it's other players' turns. And when you get those turns when it just doesn't go your way, and your strategy is now thwarted by your opponent putting a piece in a spot that really just messes you up, then you need to have some mental flexibility and be able to rechange your plans, rethink where you're going, and redevelop a new strategy, because in this game, especially with 3 other players there who are all aiming to mess you up, you're going to have to change your plans. You're never going to have a perfect strategy that's going to operate and go flawlessly from beginning to end. You're going to need to change it, on the spur of the moment. So mental flexibility is another huge skill that's developed in this game. And lastly is the executive functioning. Executive functioning is that broad term referring to all the things involved in the decision making, the processes, the everything that goes on in this game. So this is one that involves so many different aspects of your brain, and really between the 2 hemispheres of the brain, that it's fantastic. And so this is the last. Executive functioning is the last thing I'd like to mention of the skills that are developed for Blokus. And finally, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Dr. Erica Warren. It was from her blog and doing some research about Blokus that I found these skills that she had mentioned that develops, and I think she really hit on the points well. So just so that I want to give credit where credit is due, thank you, Dr. Warren, for your excellent analysis of Blokus. So let's take a look at how this game is played. So in a game of Blokus, there's going to be 4 colors used. And remember, I said even in games which have less than 4 players, you still will be using 4 colors. And what's going to happen on each turn, each player is going to start in their respective corner, and they're going to put a piece down. Now these pieces are nice, like you see here. If I try and wiggle this, it doesn't actually shift. It's just these are
ridged lines here on the board, and there's little grooves cut into these pieces, so they fit nicely into those ridges to make them so that if you move the board around, they're not going to shift all over the place, which is a really nice feature. So each player is going to take it in turn to put down pieces like so, and then the next player, and then the green player will go again here, and what happens now is the green player can only touch their piece to the corner of one of their existing pieces. Now they only have one piece down, so they can only touch it to one piece, but now they can only touch it to this existing corner. They cannot do it in any way so that it's flush with their own piece, only with the corner of that piece. And then each player will repeat that. Now this player could go on that corner, that or that corner. They might choose to do something like that. Okay, so they'll put that one there, and then this player may go here, and then this player can go here, and play will continue. Now, I'm going to fast forward the video now to a spot just to show you how the game can get really interesting once the players start to meet. Okay, so now here we are now, and this is where the game gets really interesting. Each of the players, they're starting to meet now in the center. They're each trying to carve out sort of their little territory here where they want to be able to put some more of their pieces. And so as the players have extended through, now it's going to be the yellow player's turn, and the yellow player, the green player's made an attempt here to completely box in that yellow player, starting to put up a wall here, and the blue player is coming down the other side. Now the yellow player still has a fair amount of options. So now what the yellow player could do, remembering that they can't go flush to any of their pieces, but they can go corner to corner, and if they go here, now they've made it so that they can come down out this way. So the green player is going again, and the green player maybe wants to stop that, so they go corner to corner here. Now notice too that the green is flush with the yellow. Now the green is also flush with the blue and the yellow, and that is perfectly legal, because you just can't touch your own piece flush, but you can only go corner to corner. So the green has met the requirements here of going corner to corner, but is now again trying to box in the blue and the red and the thing. They're just really trying. The game gets to the point now where you're really fighting for every space to try to maximize how many pieces you can use. So the red player sees that they're getting boxed in here pretty heavily, so they are going to, that's too many spaces, go up here. Now, then the blue player, now here's where, like I said, it got so interesting. To me, I see this giant wall of all these colors, and I think, okay, well, the blue's got this area left. But once you start playing, you suddenly see the blue player actually has all this area too, because all the blue player has to do is go like so. They've gone corner to corner, and now they're back out again. They're loose again. So trying to contain them is not as easy as it looks, and this is where it gets so interesting. And seeing those opportunities of where you can go corner to corner. Well, if I can just sneak around to this corner, I can then pop out the other side. And then yellow may, they can do the same thing here, where green has tried boxing them in, so now they're going to return the favor and start boxing green in that spot. And now blue and yellow are now spreading out down here. Now green may look to extend their thing here, so going from this corner, come up to here, now they can pop out that side. I mean, it becomes so interesting as the game progresses and the players go. And eventually what's going to happen is you're going to be, each player will have so many pieces on the board, and you will, whatever you're left with, you count the number of squares, add up all those squares that you have left, or we could just count them all, and then whoever has the least number of squares left at the end of the game is declared the winner.
And so that's going to be it for Blokus. If you have any questions about this game or some of the ways that it might be implemented into the class or any of the other things I've said in this video, please feel free to leave me a message in the comment section below. And if you'd really like to see any of the other Blokus variations done on this channel, also let me know, and I'll make it more of a priority to get on doing those videos if I know that there are people out there who really want to see it. But until then, I'm Craig Thompson Wood, the board game teacher, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.